My broke fiance forced me to sign a prenup to protect his future millions. He cried in divorce court 10 years later when that same paper protected my self-made fortune from him. Your Honor, I demand half of her assets. I contributed to this marriage for 10 years. Mark's lawyer spoke with absolute confidence. My lawyer smiled and pulled out a dusty folder. Actually, Your Honor, we have a prenuptial agreement that says otherwise. Mark's face went gray. Let me tell you how the man who called me a gold digger lost everything to his own arrogance. I met Mark when I was 21. I was working 2 jobs to pay for community college. He was finishing his business degree, funded entirely by his parents. His family wasn't wealthy, but they acted like aristocrats. They had expectations. A distant uncle with a substantial estate. They spoke about the inheritance like it was already theirs. When Mark proposed, I thought I was the luckiest woman alive. Then I met his mother. At our engagement party, she looked at my secondhand dress, my scuffed shoes, my nervous smile. So dear, she said, loud enough for everyone to hear, what exactly does your family do? My mother is a housekeeper. My father passed away when I was 12. She exchanged a look with Mark's father, the kind of look that said everything. 2 weeks before the wedding, Mark sat me down at a restaurant. His family lawyer was there. It's just a formality, honey, Mark said. My family wants to protect our future assets. You understand. The lawyer slid a 20-page document across the table. This prenuptial agreement states that all assets, earnings, and business interests acquired by either party during the marriage shall remain the sole property of that party and are not subject to division. I looked at Mark. If you really love me for me, he said, this paper shouldn't matter. It's just protection. His mother was watching from across the restaurant, smiling. I signed every page without a word. What they didn't know was that I wasn't signing away my future. I was protecting it. The first 5 years were hard. Mark bounced between jobs. He was always waiting for the promotion, for the inheritance. The uncle died in year 3, left everything to cancer research. Not a penny to the family. Mark became bitter. Meanwhile, I started a small business in our garage, website development. I taught myself to code during lunch breaks. I worked 18-hour days, weekends, holidays. Mark complained that I was never around, that I was neglecting him. By year 7, my company had 12 employees. By year 10, it was valued at $12 million. Mark hadn't held a job in 3 years. He spent his days golfing and spending money I earned. Then I found the messages. Her name was Jessica, 24 years old. They had been seeing each other for 8 months. He paid for her apartment with my money. He bought her jewelry with my money. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I called my lawyer. Mark filed for divorce 2 weeks later, demanding half of my company. Spousal support of $15,000 per month. He wanted $6 million. The court date arrived. Mark showed up in a new suit. He looked confident, smug. Your Honor, his lawyer said, my client gave up his career to support his wife's ventures. He is entitled to equitable distribution. My lawyer stood calmly. Your Honor, we have a prenuptial agreement signed by both parties 10 years ago. She handed the document to the clerk. Mark's face flickered. He had forgotten. This agreement states all assets acquired by either party during the marriage shall remain the sole property of that party. My client's business is therefore her sole property. The respondent is entitled to exactly what he brought into this marriage. The judge reviewed the document. The agreement is clear and legally binding. All business assets belong solely to the petitioner. Spousal support denied. Mark stood up. This isn't fair. She was nobody when I married her. I made her who she is. Mr. Harrison, according to this document, you made sure you would owe each other nothing. Divorce granted. I walked out of that courthouse into the sunshine. My driver opened the door of my Mercedes. Mark stood on the sidewalk. No car, no money, no plan. He built the cage that trapped him. I just waited 10 years for him to walk into it. Some people call it karma. I call it reading the fine print.